Let's now talk about the slide and stop phase of the stance, when the foot has hit the ground and now the animal is still moving forwards, so it's going to tend to push its own stationary foot forwards as the body literally collides with its own foot. The foot is obviously pushing backwards on the body, tending to slow it down, and so you want to minimize the amount of force pushing back on the body because you don't want to slow the animal down too much, because then it's got to re-accelerate itself forwards to keep up its speed. If there's too much force acting on the leg itself, pushing up the leg, this is where you get injuries in the hoof and the digits, and even in cannon bone and tendons up the leg. So there's a lot of consequences for injury related to the amount of motion and the forces acting at this stage. If the surface is too hard, when the foot comes in, it's going to stop dead, and even when the body hits it, it's not going to move forwards. I can push on that, it's not going to slip, shouldn't slip. If the surface is too soft, when the foot hits the ground, the body hits the foot, it's going to slide right out. Both of those conditions are bad. Stopping dead is bad because that means you've got high accelerations or decelerations when the mass of the body hits the foot. There's high mass of the body, high deceleration, that increases the forces on all the bones and tendons of the foot. Slipping too far is bad because the muscles of the leg are only expected to stretch so much, and if you stretch them out when they're not expecting it, you can tear muscles and tendons. It's a sort of a Goldilocks principle. You don't want too much, you don't want too little, you want just the right amount of slide. And defining what that is really difficult because it depends on the surface, it depends on the event the horse is being used for. You want a different amount of grip for jumping horses, probably more for jumping horses, than for thoroughbreds racing and standardbreds racing. So each discipline is going to have its own golden sweet spot, just a right amount of slide. And that's definitely affected by the surface, and it's affected by whether you put grips on the foot or don't have grips at all. So there's a lot of factors involved in getting the forces on the leg in this sliding phase, very short sliding phase. You can control the forces on the leg by how quickly you bring the foot to a halt when it hits the ground.